Hello everyone. Today I'll be discussing about the Open Shortest Path First Protocol. In short, it is said as OSPF. In the last class, you had studied about RIP protocol. It is Routing Information Protocol, which is based on the distance vector algorithm. Now, this Open Shortest Path First algorithm is based on the link state routing algorithm. Now, here this is an intra-domain routing protocol. It is said to be an open protocol, means the specification is a public document. Now let us see in detail. First, let us see about the metric. Metric in a open shortest path first. The open shortest path first, the cost of reaching a destination from a source is calculated from the source router to the destination network. However, each network can be assigned a weight differently based on the throughput, reliability, round trip time, so on. And administration can also decide to use the hop count as the cost. So, here you can see it is mentioned here total cost. So from the network N1, the total cost is 5 plus 3 plus 4, that is 12. From router R2, the total cost is 4 plus 3, which is 7. From router R3, the total cost is 4. So here the total cost is calculated from the source router to the destination network. So, cost of reaching the destination from with respect to each network is shown here. Next, we will see about the forwarding tables in the open shortest path first. So, each open shortest path first router can create a forwarding table after finding the shortest path tree between itself and the destination using the link state routing algorithm, or it is also said to be Dijkstra's algorithm. So, between itself and the destination, it finds the shortest path tree. So here you can see, comparing the forwarding tables here, the only difference is the cost values. So this, for the same figure, the internet example, we can see the forwarding table here. So forwarding table will have the destination network, the next router if any, and the cost associated with it. So for the first, initially for the R1, the network N1 and N2 are directly connected. The network N3, you can see the network N3 is connected through the router R2, and N4 is connected also through the router R2, and with respect to that, the cost is specified. Next, we can see here forwarding table for R2. Here we can see N1. So destination network is N1. The next router is R1. So the cost is here 9, which is added here. Destination is N1. Next router is R1. With respect to R2, it is to reach N1, it is 5 plus 4, so 9. With respect to N2 also, it is to reach R2, it is 5. With respect to N3, to reach N3 to R2, it is 3. And also to reach N4, the next router is R3, and the cost is 4 plus 3, 7. Even here in the forwarding table for R1, cost entries are missing. Not notice that. So here also we can write for N1 from R1, the cost is 4. N2 it is 5. N3 we need to have R2 as the intermediate router, and the cost is 8. And for N4 it is R2 is the intermediate router, and the total cost is 5 plus 3 plus 4, which is 12. So the rest of the entries have to be filled. Similarly for the R3. So this is about the cost. Next is the areas. Open shortest path first was designed to be able to handle routing in a small or a large autonomous system. Here what happens is the formation of the shortest path tree. Here in the algorithm, that is register algorithm, we have to form a shortest path tree. It requires that all the routers flood the whole autonomous system with the link state paths to create global link state database. It may have created huge volume of traffic in large autonomous system. So here, to prevent the autonomous system needs to prevent this, the huge traffic, the autonomous system needs to be divided into small sections which are called as areas. So one of the here each area acts as a small independent domain for flooding. One of the area in the autonomous system is designated as the backbone area. You can see here below, it is a backbone area which is actually responsible for combining the areas together. And the router is in the backbone area is responsible for passing the information collected by each area to all the other areas. So router is responsible for passing the information collected by each area to all the other areas. So here you can see that different area 1, area 2, area 0. So area 0, always the backbone is considered to be the area 0. So it is just to avoid the traffic. Whenever we have a large autonomous system, what happens is there will be huge volume of traffic. So just to prevent this, the autonomous system is divided into areas, and each area acts as a small independent domain for flooding. So router can receive all the link state paths generated in other areas. So we have all the border routers here. So area border routers can be seen. So these receive all the link state paths generated in other areas. Next is about the link state advertisement. In open shortest path first, routers advertise the state of each link to all the neighbors for the formation of the link state database, that is LSTB. So here requires that router have to advertise the neighbors for the formation. So here there are actually 5 types of link state advertisements: router link, network link, which you can see in this figure, and the remaining 3: summary link to network, summary link to autonomous system, border router, external link, you can see in the next page. So first is about the router link. Router link advertises the existence of router as a node. So this defines one or more types of links that connect the advertising router to other entities. Here we have a transient link, stub link, and point-to-point link. So transient link will announce the link to the transient network, the network which is connected to the rest of the network by one or more routers. You can see different routers here. This transient link defines address of the transient network and the cost of the link. Next we have a stub link, which advertises the link to a stub network, a network that is not a through network, which is the end one, as we have customer network in the case of internet. Also point-to-point link, it should define address of the router at the end of the point-to-point line and cost to get there. Next is about the network link. Network link advertises the network as a node. In the case of a router link, it advertises existence of router as a node. Here this advertises network as a node. Since network cannot do announcements itself, one of the router is assigned as a designated router, and that does the advertising. So link state part announces the IP address of all the routers. Here the cost is not advertised because each router announces the cost to the network when it sends a router link advertisement. Next we have summary link to network. So summary link to network is done by an area border router. So it advertises the summary of the links collected by the area 0, which is the backbone network, to an area, or summary of the links collected by an area to the backbone. It can be vice versa, summary link to the network. Next, summary link to autonomous system. This is done by the autonomous system router. It advertises the summary of links from other autonomous system to area 0, which is the backbone area of the current autonomous system. The information can be disseminated to the area so that they will know about the network in other autonomous systems. Next is the external link. This is done by the autonomous system router to announce the existence of a single network outside the autonomous system to the backbone area to be disseminated into areas. So you can see here, autonomous system router announces the existence of one network outside the autonomous system, which will be advertised to the backbone area. These are about the 5 different types of link state paths of the links. Next is we'll be seeing about the open shortest path implementations. This uses 5 different types of messages. Open shortest path common header is used in all those 5 types of messages, which will be consisting of version 1 by type, message length, source, router IP address, area identification, checksum, authentication type, all that. In the types of the message, we have a link state general header, which some messages will have. Next is the different types of messages. So one is the common header, then we have a general header. Next we have the message type. So we have hello message, which is a type 1, database description message, which is a type 2. Next we have link state request message, which is type 3. Next we have link state update message, link state acknowledgement message. These are the 5 types. So first let us see about the hello message. So in the hello message, it is used by the router to introduce itself to the neighbor and announces all the neighbors that it already knows. It is said to be a hello message. Next is database description, which you can see here, database description message, which is a type 2. First one, type 1, hello interval, dead interval, all that will be present. Next, in the database description, normally it is sent in response to the hello message, like a reply kind. And here it allows newly joined router to acquire the full link state database. Next we have the link state request message and the link state update message and the link state acknowledgement. So here link state request message is sent by the router that needs information about the specific link state. Next the link state update message, here the main open shortest path first message used for building the link state database. Next is the link state acknowledgement message. It is used to create reliability in the open shortest path first. Each router that receives the link state update message needs to acknowledge it. Next is about the authentication. Authentication is open shortest path first common header has a provision for authentication. This prevents the malicious entity from sending the open shortest path first or OSP of message to the router and causing the router to become a part of the routing system to which it actually belong. Next, about the algorithm needs to be augmented to handle sending the receiving all 5 types of messages. With respect to the performance, the update messages are flooded to whole area. If the area is large, they may create heavy traffic and use a lot of bandwidth. Next, robustness. This is more robust. After receiving the completed LSDB, each router is independent and does not depend on other routers in the area. Next, convergence of flooding table. When flooding is completed, each router can create its own shortest path tree and the flooding table. That is about the open shortest path first algorithm. Next, let us will give introduction and will try to cover few of the topics of the border gateway protocol. So this border gateway protocol version 4 is the only interdomain routing protocol which is used in the internet today. It is the interdomain. We have seen the routing information protocol and also the open shortest path first protocols are the intradomain. This is the interdomain in between. So border gateway protocol is based on the path vector algorithm and it is tailored to provide information about the reachability of the networks in the internet. So here you can see the sample example of the internet where there are 4 autonomous systems, AS1, AS2, AS3 and AS4. So here AS2, AS3, AS4 are stub autonomous system and AS1 is the transient one. The data exchange between 2, 3, 4 should pass through AS1. So these are stub. The data will not pass through those two other autonomous systems. That's why those are said to be stub. And data is passed through all 3 autonomous systems through AS1. So it is the transient one. And here each autonomous system uses one of the 2 common intra-domain protocols. Either it can use RIP or it can use OSPF. Each router in each autonomous system knows how to reach a network that is in its own autonomous system, but it does not know how to reach a network in another autonomous system. So to enable each router to route a packet to any network internet, we have eBGP is installed on each border router. So you can see the border routers here which gets connected to the other autonomous system which are marked. So R1 to R5, R2 to R6, R4 to R9, all this. So here to enable each router to route a packet to any network internet, eBGP is installed. And second variation of this is iBGP, which is installed on all the routers. It is internal. Border routers will be running 3 protocols: intra-domain, eBGP and iBGP, but the other routers are running 2 protocols: intra-domain and iBGP. So here you can see, let us see the operation of eBGP, which is said to be point-to-point protocol. Here you can see that the 2 routers that run the BGP processes are called BGP peers. And we discuss update messages that announce reachability of the network. eBGP allows 2 physically connected border routers in 2 different autonomous systems to form a pair of eBGP speakers and exchange messages, which are said to be eBGP sessions. You can see here the routers form 3 pairs: R1 to R5, as I have already told, R2 to R6, R4 to R9. And each logical connection in the border gateway protocol is referred as a session. So this figure shows a simplified update messages sent by the routers which are involved in the eBGP sessions. So you can see the messages sent here. So, for example, message number 1, it is marked with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with a black circled. So, message 1 is sent by router R1. You can see that it is sent by router R1 and tells the router R5 that N1, N2, N3, N4 networks can be reached through R1. When R5 receives any packet which is destined for these four networks, it can use its forwarding table, and since it knows that the next router is R1, it will be forwarded. Messages exchanged during all these three eBGP sessions help some routers know how to route a packet to some network in the internet. So you can see by using the second message also. Here, message sent by R5, which is 2, marked as 2, it tells the router R1 that N8 and N9 can be reached through R5. When R1 receives any packet which should be sent to N8 and N9, it can use the forwarding table and it will get to know that the next router is R5. Similarly, the other messages, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, to reach these routers, this is the next, these networks, this is the next router, and it also tells that from which autonomous system you have to pass through. And to which autonomous system this router belongs. So that is what you can see, N1, N2, N3, N4, which belongs to AS1, and next router is R2. Next also it tells about N10, 11, 12. It is in AS3 and the router is the R6, which is the border router. Similarly, the here sixth one, N13, 14, 15, it is in AS4 and the border router is R9. And similarly for the fifth one, N1, N2, N3, N4, it is in AS1, the border router is R4. That is about these tables. Next is, there are two problems here. Some border routers do not know how to route a packet destined for a non-neighbor autonomous system. Like here itself you can see that R6 will not be knowing how to route a packet to AS2 to AS4, or R9 will not be in touch or will not be knowing how to route a packet to AS2 or AS3. Similarly, R5 will not be knowing how to route a packet to AS3 or AS4. Those are somewhat like a non-neighbor. To address this, iBGP is used. So, here, if an autonomous system has only one router, there cannot be a iBGP session. Inside AS2 and AS4, we cannot create iBGP session because there is only one router. And if there are n routers, there should be n into n minus 1 divided by 2 iBGP sessions. So if there are 3 routers, it is 3 IGP sessions. 3 into 2 divided by 2. In case if there are 4 routers, it is 4 into 3 divided by 2, 6 IGP sessions. Now, in other words, each router needs to advertise its own reachability to the peer in a session instead of flooding what it receives from another peer in another session. So only 4 messages are exchanged here in this figure. Here also, the first message sent by R1 announcing that N8 and N9 are reachable through the path AS1 to AS2. The next router is R1. This message is sent through separate sessions to R2, R3 and R4. Routers R2, R4 and R6 do the same. R2, R4 as well as R6 do the same, but send different messages to different destinations. So you can see here, first message, which is sent by R1, announcing that N8 and 9 are reachable through the path AS1, AS2. These are said to be the IBGP. Similarly, second one, N13, 14, 15, which announces that these networks are reachable through AS1 to AS4, and next router is R4, similarly the other. Next is about the BGP path tables. So we have to see about the BGP path tables, then also about the path attributes. How can we inject the information into the intra-domain routing, and also the different attribute types, route selections, which will be continued in the next class. So hope you have understood these concepts. So know about which are the different types of messages with respect to external BGP operations and the internal BGP operations. So internal BGP is similar to external in that it uses the services of TCP, but it creates a session between any possible pair of router inside autonomous system. In this stage, only 4 messages are exchanged. But in the case of a eBGP, it allows two physically connected border routers in two different autonomous systems to form pair of eBGP by creating a TCP connection. Here you can see that altogether there are 6 messages, and we have 3 eBGP sessions. Okay, thank you.